Welcome, everyone, to another installment of Take 10. I'm Mike Baldwin, your host. I'm an account manager with our Business and Industry Services division here at Madison College. And with me today, we have Lynn Baldwin. She is a business technology instructor here at the college. Welcome, Lynn.
Hi, everyone.
Lynn, we are always mesmerized by everything that we can and cannot do within Excel. Can you just share with us some of the functionality, some of the things that, if we don't know, we don't know. And I know there's just a lot of great tips and tricks that can be very helpful to make me, the user, more efficient. Share with us what's out there that we need to know about.
That sounds great. You're right, Mike. There are so many different things that we can do with Excel that a lot of people, never know, especially for self-taught users. So I wanted to share some really quick and easy tips that you can do today. Maybe you've seen other people do that will just make your life a little bit easier as you're going through and using this extremely powerful program. I'd like to start with some of the things that are just setup options that might be easy for you as you're working through the program and you just want to set it up a little bit more effectively and efficiently. So right up at the top here is something called the Quick Access Toolbar. And the neat thing about this is these are buttons that you can use and maybe things that you use pretty frequently. And you can actually customize this. So if you click on the drop down arrow here at the top, you can put some buttons there that maybe you use pretty frequently. Like if you like to quickly sort things, ascending order, I could click on this button here and now it will be added to my quick access toolbar. But you don't have to be limited by those options that are in that list. You can actually go down to more commands and get to some of those things maybe that you personally use more than other people. For example, if you create a lot of charts, you could click on Create Chart and click Add. And then that button will be added to your quick access toolbar. Likewise, you can click any of these buttons and remove them, and then they will no longer be added to your quick access toolbar. So that's just one way that you can do some setup options that'll make your life a little bit easier. Another way is the button over in the corner of your screen. Some of us have that nasty habit of having our ribbon go away. It mysteriously is lost. And up in the corner, we have the ribbon display options button right up here. And if you click on this button, this is how you can either retrieve your ribbon if it's missing, and that's what this would look like. You can go right back over to that button and click on it, and then it will show your ribbon back if you'd like to have the ribbon, the tabs, and the commands both showing. If you like it so that you have a minimal view, you can actually change this a little bit and just show the tabs. So again, you can always retrieve that ribbon if it's gone, and that's a really handy tip, especially if you spend several minutes trying to find where that went. All right, another setup option I want to talk about is those theme colors. Maybe you've never really thought a little bit about this, but when you click on your fill button or your font color button, maybe you've ever wondered, where did those colors come from? Well, you can actually change those colors if you'd like to, and that is over in our theme color button on our page layout tab. So on this page layout tab, we have this colors button here, and that's where you can set up all the different colors so that you can have the colors at your disposal. So maybe you're more of a blue fan and you like to have blue colors or red colors. You can certainly choose those colors so it's easy for you to access them and not have to find them each time. Or if you're like me and you'd actually like to customize them, you can go down to customize colors and you can set up any of the colors you'd like to so that those are the default colors in your options. So I'll go ahead, I'll change this to more of a colorful look right here. I'll use one of these default colors, and then let's go back and see how that worked. Here in my fill color bucket, now those are the colors that I have to choose from. So it just makes my life just a little bit easier rather than having to track down those colors each time. One of my favorite buttons is called the Format Painter, and I'll show you how that works here. For example, if I'd like to change the spreadsheet that I have here, I have some high school attendance revenue costs listed here for some local area high schools. And this is just some made up data, but it serves as a good example to help us look at some other ways we can make our use of Excel really efficient. So first of all, I'm going to take this title and I'll go ahead and do some things to it. I'm going to add some color to it. I'm going to bold it. I'll increase the font here a little bit. And then I'm going to use one of those colors that I just set up, and I'll make the color of it this nice purple. So I've added a couple things to that cell, and maybe I don't remember all of the things that I've done for that cell. Well, there's this handy button called the Format Painter. And the neat thing about the Format Painter is that it just copies the formatting. It doesn't copy any of the text. So if I just want to copy that formatting from that cell, I can select the cell where I have the formatting applied already. Go ahead and click Format Painter, and then anything I paint after this, if you will have that same formatting applied. So we'll go ahead and apply that formatting to that cell in cell A2. And so now you can see those same formatting things were applied to that cell. It just saves a lot of time so that you don't have to go ahead and always remember all of those different things that you've changed. All right, the next thing also has to do with the title, but sometimes it would look a little bit nicer to have this title centered across all of this information that I have listed here. And so in order to do that, if I select the cells where I'd like to have the title centered across, I can use this handy button right at the top called the Merge and Center. And what that does is it merges that information into one cell, and then it centers it all in once. The little tip about this, you have to do this one at a time for different lines. I won't be able to do these two lines at a time. So I do have to do that one at a time individually. All right, let's talk a little bit about money and currency here. So I have, like I said before, some schools, their attendance, and then some cost amounts here. And it would be nice for me to apply a dollar sign to these costs. And most of us are probably familiar with the accounting style that's located right here in the ribbon, and I can apply it that way. And if you notice, the dollar sign appears at the left of the cell, and then the 2 decimal places. But there's also another currency format that sometimes people don't know about, and it's kind of hidden, but it's located under this button here if you go and find more styles. So there's the accounting here, but we can also change it to the currency style. And the neat thing about the currency style is we can also have our negative numbers appear either with parentheses in red or just in red or with a minus sign. So I'll choose one of these styles just to show you what that looks like and say okay. And notice it puts the dollar sign next to my amount, but also if I have a negative number, you'll see it automatically changes that currency style for me to that negative red with the parentheses. So that's an easy way for you to have another style applied to your data. A couple other things I'd like to do. So in this cell right here, I'd like to get the total revenue. And to set that up, I'll set up a formula using my equal sign and multiplying the 2 cells together, the attendance times the cost. And when I have that, I'll give you a quick little tip here. Sometimes this makes people nervous, but if you can't see all the contents of your cell and you get those number signs showing, it means that your column is not wide enough. So in order to widen your columns between column F and G, if I simply click and drag with my mouse, I can widen the column. You can also double click and it will auto fit those columns as wide as it needs to be able to be visible. All right, the tip after this though is to copy these cells down. And you could use your copy and paste if you wanted to, but I'll show you a quicker way to do that. A nice quick way to do that is to use this fill handle in the bottom corner. It's a little square at the very bottom corner, but if I use this fill handle by clicking and dragging my cell, it will copy all of those formulas down to the next row. And it does something called a relative cell reference, meaning it moves down the cell and uses those same cells in a relative position to multiply together to get the result. Also, if you want to take a look at the formulas, a quick, easy way to do that is to go to your Formula tab and click on Show Formulas. Now you can see all of the formulas in your worksheet at once, and that's a great way to troubleshoot if you're having problems. You can also go back and click Show Formulas to take those off. All right, I have just a couple more tips, and this is probably my favorite one of all. This is the flash fill, and this is available in versions 2013 and later. as far as I could tell. So I have some data here that has Sun Prairie Cardinals listed, but let's say I just want the school name separate. I just would like the school name in this first column that I have listed here. So what I can do is I can start typing that data, how I want it to be separated. So I'd like Sun Prairie in the first cell, and I'd like a Middleton in the second cell. And notice what happens. It might be kind of light on your screen, but grayed out, Excel is starting to see the pattern that I'm doing. It's noticing that I want the first words before the very last word. And that's the flash fill. And if I go ahead and hit enter right now, I don't have to do anything else, but it noticed my pattern and it separated all that data quickly and easily for me. A couple tips about that. You do need to get it started. So I needed to do the 2 items so that Excel could see my pattern. It could see that with Sun Prairie, I wanted the first 2 words. With Middleton, I wanted the first word. And then that's separated by the space for the last word. All right, and then one last tip that's really related to this, it's the autofill. This is a really easy thing that can save you a ton of time, especially if you have a very large worksheet. So in this, if I wanted to get, for example, I wanted to type number 1 and then number 2, and I wanted to have a sequence of numbers go all the way down. Once I get that pattern started, I select the first 2 items in that pattern, and then I use that fill handle we learned about before, and I click and drag that down, and Excel will create that pattern, which was to increase the number by 1 each time. The neat thing about this is you can do this with just about anything. Let's say I have some other numbers, like I wanted to go by tens for the year. Once I get the pattern started with the first 2 items, 2010, 2020, I can use my fill handle, copy this down, and it will keep increasing by 10 as far as I use the fill handle. You know, you could even do this, you know, with a sequence of numbers 1, 5, or 1, 3, 5. You know, if I wanted to go by 2s, same thing. Once Excel notices the sequence of numbers, it will copy it down as far as that you want to use the fill handle. So I hope those tips were helpful and make your life just a little bit easier when you're using this extremely powerful and fun to use program called Excel.
Lynn, those are awesome tips, and I know that's really kind of the tip of the iceberg, knowing there's a lot more things that can happen within Excel. You know, those are basic, they're simple, the functionality, it's quick, but those are super valuable. So, and flash fill and autofill, that's the first thing I'm going to go after once we're done with this session. So I really appreciate your time today.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. And let us know if you need any more help with Excel.
And thanks everyone again for visiting us here at Madison College. Questions, comments, or even other suggestions just for other topics, and to check out some of our other material, just visit us at www.madisoncollege.edu/BIS. Again, thanks for stopping with us and have a great day.